to Millennial News, and thank you for tuning in to our first episode, the only place where talking politics means being unpolitically correct, and you can call it how you see it. I'm your host, Charity Gashenge, and joining us today is my guest co-host, Jessica Zenzo.
On today's show, we're aiming straight for the bullseye and facing our biggest Generation Y frustration, the quarter-life crisis. If you're wondering exactly what that is, common symptoms are depression, anxiousness, confusion, and even fear of adulthood.
First up, we have the very successful Chico Abengawe, here to help us tackle our undeniable quarter-life financial crisis. And for the cherry on top, we'll end the show with a heated debate with our hot-off-the-press panel. But before we get things started, let's get to know our guest co-host a little bit better. Welcome to the show, darling. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. Well, I'm Jessica. I'm from New York, upstate New York to be exact. There's a big difference.
What's the difference?
It's not like city at all, small town. It's like 4 hours from New York City. But I moved to DC over 2 years ago to teach, and I love it here. But the transition down here was a crisis in itself.
Let's talk about this quarter-life crisis, because when I graduated, I was excited for I don't even know what. I walked out of college with a flimsy sheet of paper and several thousands of dollars that I have yet to pay back.
Well, at least you stopped at undergrad. I went for my master's. You can only imagine the hole I dug for myself. I literally lost so much weight trying to work and attend grad school full time. And when you have to consolidate your student loans, you know you have way too many.
You know, it really starts with the corrupt educational system. I mean, you have SATs, which are designed to be fair for all, but then it displaces a lot of people because you can't really test everyone equally, right?
Right. The SAT does mark the premature stages of a quarter-life crisis. And according to the collegeboard.org, the test is designed to assess students' academic readiness for college and measure the skills required for success.
Okay, but the test is 3 hours and 45 minutes long. I mean, there's nothing in undergrads that rigorous, right? I mean, have you ever heard about that bill that said that they want the states to start to control, testing standards? What do you think about that?
Well, working for DCPS, I feel that the government is responsible for the welfare of all students, and that includes providing more resources to low-performing schools.
Speaking of affordability, student loans prevent young people, from making real financial investments and automatically give millennials a negative portfolio. You know, it's said that millennials have the worst credit in comparison to generations before them.
Well, I can see how that happened. Our job barely makes it so we can make ends meet at the end of each month. Looks like we have to take a break, but when we return, we'll sit down with Chico and learn how to turn $1 into $100.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Welcome back to Millennial News. A growing percentage say that the American dream is no longer affordable. With high interest rates and even higher unemployment rates, Generation Y has taken on the burden of those before them. Today's guest graduated from college and quickly found himself unsatisfied and working longer hours than expected. After quitting his job without a backup plan, he stands before us as a very successful CEO of a $1 million staffing agency. Please join us in welcoming Chico Abengawe. Hi, Chico. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Charity. Thanks for having me.
So I love your story and everything you've been through. You've got to tell us more.
Okay. Where would you like me to start?
I want to know why you quit college and what made you, why'd you quit your job and what made you do that?
Well, I mean, don't you know how they say go to school get a good education, get out and get a good what?
Degree.
Job.
And job. You're right. Clearly, I need to go back to school, right? Sorry.
Get a good job. So, I mean, I had a job. I had an okay job as a healthcare staffing recruiter, and it was okay, but I didn't enjoy it. I wanted more. I wanted more out of life. I wanted to get a chance to control my own destiny and control the type of income that I made. So after a while, I just like realized that I wanted to be a business owner. But you know how we do as millennials, we just start making excuses. You know, we catch that bug, excuse-itis.
Okay, but at what point do you say, you know, I'm done with school and I'm done with going back to school, you know, and my parents are pressuring me to, you know, make the job thing work? And when do you say, by the way, I am going to stay home and sleep at your house, Mom, to build my dreams? What did you do? How did you make it happen?
Well, I think one of the things that I focused on when I had a job in the beginning was just like creating other revenue streams. So like
multiple sources of income.
Multiple sources of income for sure.
Everyone says that.
Yep.
So what does that mean? Tell us.
So what that means is just like not just only dependent on your job. So you have your 9 to 5. Yes, you're making money, but you have to also look into other avenues like maybe investing in the stock market, buying real estate, or doing other things to create other sources of income.
Okay, but how do you learn about that when, I mean, you go to school, I work for communications. So
Correct.
How do I learn about making concrete investments? Like, how do I know how to invest my money into what? You did real estate, but you told me you were a staffing person. So
Correct.
How did you buy a home with that knowledge?
Correct. First, you have to be interested in that. So no one is just going to teach you that. So you have to take your time, the same time that you're using to watch reality shows or doing other crazy things. You take that time, just educate yourself on different things that you can do to just kind of create residual income.
Okay, so what advice could you give us that can help us, you know, set ourselves up for, you know, financial freedom and not have to be slaving when we become seniors?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that I would say is just like watch your spending, because a lot of times most people think it's how much money you make, but it's really how much money you take. So it's like, you know, when you make money, use that money and invest it properly so that you can build a foundation that creates you wealth.
How much money were you making?
When?
You know, you told me something that you don't want to make any more than $40,000 a year. Why?
Correct. So when I first started my job, I was making $35,000, and every time I came up for promotion, I skipped that. Only because I didn't want to get comfortable making a lot more money. Because if you get comfortable making a lot more money, then it's harder for you to leave your job or make that decision to walk away from your job.
So what's your secret now? That you're this big shot.
Not a big shot, but I wouldn't say there's any secret. It's just about doing the same thing over and over and over, and over time you start to see the effects and the results.
Definitely. Well, I thank you so much, Chico, for being a wealth of knowledge. You know, I really do respect you. My mama loves you. And I just hope that, you know, people will learn more about you. If they want to know more about your story, they can always see us at www.itsmillennialnews.com. And if you want to, you know, go on Twitter and continue the conversation, you can find us at itsmillennial_ and make sure to hashtag Ask Chico. Well, Chico, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Next up is our highly anticipated hot off the press panel discussion. See you soon.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
This is where we insert the drum roll. It's time to remind the administration just how informed we are. These lovely people are part of today's hot off the press panel. Emphasis on the hot part. We have Jessica Zenzo, Kiari Mani, Liz Wen, and Chico Abengawe. All right, you guys. So I've got this quote from the Associated Press, which says, around 50% of graduates with a bachelor's degree under 25 are unemployed or either underpaid. What do you guys think about that?
I have thoughts on this if no one else does. I think the problem is that in high school, we're not really trying to figure it out or figure out what we want to do with our lives, right? We try and figure that out in college, but college costs money. So why spend 4 years of your life trying to figure out what you want to do, and then when you graduate, you still don't have it figured out? And I think if we took a little more time, maybe at 14, 15, to really develop our interests and figure out, you know, what we like and what we don't like before we started shelling out the big bucks to do it, the things would be a little bit different.
Okay, but Liz, did you know what you wanted to do when you were 14?
I still don't know what I'm doing now.
Because I was like watching Britney Spears and like popped at the pop, like.
Right.
So, but what do you guys feel about just the actual process of going through school? I know I had a very difficult time paying for it, and they really wanted me to do like these pre-prep courses or something, and I was like, I'm too smart for a summer prep program. Have you lost your mind? So what do you guys really think is a good solution, you know, to making college more affordable, to getting paid the right amount of money for what we went to school for when we decided to figure out this is what we wanted to do? What is a good solution to that, you guys think?
Well, you know, school is an investment like anything else. You have to put something into it if you want to get something out of it. High risk, high reward. Right?
But Chico did it completely different, because Chico went a different route. So tell us, Chico, what is the secret? Because I'm trying to be like you when I grow up, even though I'm already grown, but you know. Tell me.
I mean, a lot of the reasons why I think most people are underemployed once they get out of college is because of when people get out of college, they're in debt, right? Mm-hmm. So they focus on, how do I start paying this debt? So they just take any job. So they don't really focus on getting into the job that they study for. They just take any job to start paying for the debt. So I mean, one of the things that I did, you know, getting into college, I just made sure that I had scholarships to back it up. And if I didn't have scholarships, I wouldn't have gone to college, honestly.
Wait a minute. Okay, let's not talk about scholarships, because high school is difficult. Who really has time to go to school from 7 to 3 and tons of after-school programs, and then go home and write extra essays on top of the essays in all 7 classes of homework? Like, that's not practical. Like,
I disagree. I think it's possible. I did it. I was a cheerleader, basketball player, NHS, straight A's, and I went through college with a full scholarship. But that's because I worked hard for that. I think our generation wants easy handouts. Yeah. So we want to say we want a great education, we want to make a lot of money, but we don't want to go home and put the work in. That's what you have to do.
And I don't completely agree with that, and I understand where you're coming from, but a lot of time it has to do with the school system too, because in school we're not prepped to understand real life situations such as taxes and loans and what we need to do. I had to figure all that out, and you know, I come from a family of immigrants, and I had no idea about college prep, visiting college, and you know, I didn't come from a lot of money, and I felt that, you know, I didn't understand the cost of SAT preps, and it really does make a difference when you have that kind of schooling and extra money to kind of help you get through there. So I do think that it is part of the system, and then also there's some economic and, you know, social issues in there too.
Oh no, I completely agree with that. Luckily, I had parents to help me navigate me through those waters, but if I didn't have people pointing me in the right direction, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Jessica, I know a little bit about your story, because you were like, what, the call center? Like going for your master's?
The call center? Oh yeah, I'm working at the call center.
You had that Hi, welcome to Verizon, how can I help you? No, really, tell us, what did you do?
I worked for it was National Grid, which is an electricity company in upstate. And I was like a customer service representative. It was like $10 an hour. It was the worst.
But you were doing it while you were getting your master's?
It was the summer before I got my master's.
Okay.
I actually worked as a teaching assistant while I was getting my master's. Even though I already had a degree in education, I couldn't get a teaching job in New York because I wanted someone with experience. But how are you going to get experience if they won't hire you as a teacher?
Okay, this is interesting. I know a little about Jessica because this is my friend, of course. But you were telling me that in DC, when you have a master's degree, because you're a special ed teacher, that you get paid more. But you guys still don't get paid a lot of money, and you have a master's degree.
Correct.
Like, that's insane. And then on top of that, you still pay for your school supplies.
Correct.
So, I mean, how do you feel about knowing you went and got 2 degrees, you're probably never going to get paid a lot of money, because you're going to be a teacher and you're passionate. So how do you feel like there could be like a solution between passion and student loans? We all can't be doctors and lawyers. You know, we can't. So what do you think?
I guess I feel like the cost of college should be based on what you're going to college for. So
that's a good, yeah.
You know, someone who went for accounting at my university paid the same amount of money in student loans, unless they had a scholarship or something, as I did who went for teaching. Now, we know accountants make a lot more money than a teacher, but we paid the same cost for education. So I think that is something that needs to be taken into consideration when the cost of college is being put out there.
So this is kind of interesting. So they say that, you know, an increase in student loans is really making it harder for graduates to serve the community in public interest and do like, you know, community service things. So how do you guys utilize your day-to-day life, you know, after going 9 to 5 and about to pass out after that, you know? What do you guys actually do? Like, do you have a life outside of 9 to 5? And Chico, we know. Tell us, Chico. What do you do since you running a company and everything? Like, how do you really, you know?
I mean, I just think you got to like figure out what your focuses are, and then just kind of like put your energy there. So I mean, you have your 9 to 5, yes, you know, but then afterwards, you know, what else are you doing? To go back to some of the things that we were talking about earlier, a 9 to 5 shouldn't be your only source of income. I mean, like, you know, if you're not making enough money at your 9 to 5, find something else that you can be doing to make some extra income.
And I guess stripping doesn't count, right?
And it could count for some people.
You extra money. Hip Hop Atlanta and all those shows, and they make some good money.
It could count for some people.
Don't do that. It's not worth promoting. No, but okay. So I wanted to bring this question to you, Kiara, because you definitely, as a blogger, have a lot of insight and are very vocal about how you feel. And Obama's got this whole entire initiative where he wants to make a 2-year, you know, community college degree free. I'm totally against it because I've already paid my debt. I want to get a refund before you go off shelling out new initiatives, you know? But what do you think about that?
Well, you know, I wrote a Huffington Post blog about the high cost of education, and Obama wrote me back, not to name drop or anything, #Obama, thank you for the letter. But, you know, that really spoke to me just because he cares. It's not even so much of what he said in the letter, and you can get on my Instagram and read what that letter says. But it's just the fact that he really cares. It's not like it's something that, it's important to him. You know, him and Michelle, they didn't pay off their debts until they were in the White House, which is ridiculous. You know, the President of the United States owes Sally Mae however much money. But I do think that the 2-year free education is a good thing, and this is why I say that, because for the people who don't know what they want to do, going to college and spending lots of money to figure that out is a waste of money. Think about if you had 2 years, because you said at 14 you didn't know what you wanted to do.
Girl, I wanted to be a singer, and I'm still trying to be a singer.
Well, you know, I chased those dreams, and on the side, now imagine if you were 18 years old and Obama said, okay, so I want to send you to college, and you have 2 years to figure it out, take classes, figure out what you like.
No, I don't believe in college. I would never force my kid to go to college. I would say that whatever you feel is your desire to pursue, you do that, because college is not for everyone. And I think Chico is a good example. I'm a creator. I am not sitting in school taking exams and getting this degree and being broke. I could have been in Tahiti with my money.
No, charity.
I
definitely.
Yeah, but like you said, college is not for everyone, but sometimes you don't know until you get there.
Yeah.
And there are people out there who want to go to college, but they don't have the resources, the funds, or they don't know what they're doing. I had no idea what I was doing. So I do agree that, you know, 2 years of college should be free. But another thing that I think is not being discussed is, you know, why does it always just have to be 2 years of college? Could we focus something on trade jobs? Like you said, you know, it's about trying to increase, I'm sorry, I got distracted. It's just about really trying to create more jobs and having people to be able to afford living in America. It's just that we're living from paycheck to paycheck.
Yep, that's so true.
I agree.
I definitely agree. But you know, that's all the time that we have, folks. But let's continue this discussion on our Facebook page or our Twitter page @MillennialNews_. We thank you so much for watching, and until next time, think big.